My friends, hello and welcome to this first finance class. So, I'd like to tell you first, before we begin, that I have no conflict of interest. Conflict of interest stands for conflict of interest, which means conflict of interest in the financial system. People who get their information, who take advice from entities, it could be individuals or institutions, are often loaded with COIs, meaning conflicts of interest. Well, they're commonly called suckers. It's also called dumb money. It's called stupid money. It means the money that comes into the market, into the system or the circuit, and then it's in the hands of people who are going to listen. Advice from entities that necessarily don't have their best interests at heart, who want to make money at their expense. I'll give you a simple example. You walk into your bank, and then the banker will say, yes, Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so, we have a portfolio. It's very interesting. I see your profile, and I think it could be very nice for you. Does the banker have a conflict of interest or not? Every time someone talks to you about finance, that's your first question. Actually, I lied to you a minute ago. I told you before starting the class, we're going to talk about conflict of interest. Actually, we're already in the class. The conflict of interest is the fundamental concept in finance. That means when you go see your banker and he says, I offer you this portfolio, you need to know one thing. He's not offering it to you because he likes you. He's not necessarily offering it in your best interest. There might be an interest. You might actually make money, I don't know. But the main motivation of financial players is to make money for themselves. So the banker, quite simply, he went to see his supervisor a few weeks ago, and his supervisor set a certain number of goals for him. The goals will determine whether he gets the promotion he wants and whether he gets the bonus he wants. They can even determine whether he keeps his job or has to leave. So he has an interest in signing up as many clients as possible in this system. Afterwards, whether it matches their interests or not, that's another story. Let me put it this way. If I want to sell you a car, I'll tell you it's nice and hasn't been driven much and so on. It's fine, maybe it's true. Selling you a car doesn't mean I'm trying to scam you. Maybe I'm telling the truth and you'll buy the car and enjoy it. But structurally, you are the buyer, you have the money in your hand, that's structural. And me, structurally, I have the car, I want to sell it, and I want your money. So, in a way, you can't trust me. It's not about how long you've known me or that I'm a nice guy. That's not it. When we enter the field of finance, there's no more trust. There's mainly the conflict of interest. So what you have to do in the case of the car is bring in an independent mechanic who will come and check it. And if I asked you, I tell you, listen, if you have doubts, I have a buddy who's a mechanic. I'll bring him and he'll take a look at it. Conflict of interest or not? Yes, conflict of interest because the guy is my friend or the guy, I'm the one paying him. So regarding the report he's going to make about the car, you can't trust it. There needs to be an independent third party to come and make their report. Okay? So why am I saying this? In this course, I don't have a sponsor. I'm not trying to sell you an investment portfolio. I'm not trying to sell you access to an exclusive group. I'm not selling anything at all. I could have even made this course paid, and that's it, but I definitely could have gotten several tens of thousands of euros in sponsorship. From, for example, Brocax, just to mention their name in this course, just to say, look, I'm buying from them or selling with them. I turned down a lot of offers before organizing this course, okay, just so I could say, in terms of conflict of interest, I'm at 0%. Again, I'm not necessarily saying that every operator who has a conflict of interest is a scammer. That's not it. You should never be extreme. I'm simply saying when an operator or an entity has a conflict of interest, you need to validate the information through a third-party independent entity. That's it. Otherwise, you're just listening to people who want to profit from you. So now there's an important point. Why do I want to organize this course? I want to organize this course because for a long time, I was a journalist at a channel that focused on the stock market, specialized in the stock market. So I would leave in the morning. I was a video journalist, what they call a video journalist. I didn't know anything when I was hired. I learned that my title was video journalist. While doing it, I carried a case with a camera, tripod, batteries, and other gear. And then, the day before, I would prepare for the next day and leave early in the morning. I was rarely at the office because in the morning there was a press breakfast. You go to the Morris, you go to the George V, you go to the Ritz, you go. In fact, in the biggest luxury hotels in Paris, companies, whether small or large, well known or less known, organize press breakfasts very regularly. So you do that, then you go to general meetings, then you go to an interview with a fund manager, you go to an interview with a small shareholders association. All that in the evening, there's still more and everything. And then you spend the whole day on the road interviewing people, and then you put that on tapes. Then come back quickly to the office to hand that in or to edit it. All right, so at that time, I discovered that the system was unfair, that the system was completely made so that the majority of people lose. I'll give you an example. Imagine at noon, I'm going to go to a big Parisian bank, right? So imagine, I don't know, Société Générale or maybe Paris-Basse or another one. I'm going to the stock exchange district. They have a huge trading platform. You arrive, you see these guys at their desks with screens. They have a ton of screens, a forest of screens in front of them, and you talk with them. Then, well, you see that they're doing very fast, high frequency trading with huge volumes and everything and all that. The next day you see them taking positions, and the next day a newspaper comes out or a weekly magazine comes out. You get some information, you get some advice. Here is the selection, the top 5 stocks to watch, or the stocks you absolutely need to have in your portfolio this summer. You see, it feels a bit like consumerism, and actually you realize that the information given in this magazine, well, the serious guys, the guys from the platforms and the guys from the banks and all that, have been positioning themselves on this for weeks. They're already in the price, they're already in the market, you see, and then you have small shareholders when you go see them. Sometimes I would go to associations of small shareholders who did the same, who had filed complaints and all that, who had stepped up, sometimes against their brokers, against their banks, against the company, all that because they felt cheated, they got into the system, they thought they could dabble in the stock market, they thought they could make money, all that. And then, well, basically they end up ruined. And later, when they search on Facebook, they find groups and everything, they join them, and they realize they're not alone. There's a number I'd like to give you, a statistic, just so we can set things straight, the statistic. Here it is. I have my marker right here. It's the rule of 390s. So I'll give it here. The rule of 390s. So 90, 90, 90, 80. I'll explain what it means. It means that 90% of people lose 90% of their money during the first 90 days. All right, so what happens is that you have brokers, trading platforms, all that. Well, they know that if they get 100 clients this month, in 90 days, in 3 months, 90% of the clients have already left, the resumes. That means the guy who came in with 200 euros with, I don't know, 2,000 euros on average, 200, you've lost him. Well, his fortune, his portfolio has been wiped out. All right, so only 10% of people are winners. So the problem that this creates for banks and brokers and all that, and that's where, well, I'd like to say something that might be a bit annoying for many people, is that imagine you're a bank manager, you have 90% of the clients you've gained this month. So you worked, you did marketing, you onboarded them, it cost you money, paperwork, all that, just to create accounts for them. In 3 months, they won't be there anymore. 90% have been wiped out. They will be wiped out. So what will happen? Either they will close their accounts or they'll leave 17.50 euros in there and stop using it. All right. So what do you do to keep existing? You have to recruit others. You constantly have to be in a recruitment mindset. That's why you'll see that all the trading classes are constantly advertising, because actually a large part of their income is spent on marketing to replace the people who lose. And when you get into this system, you're going to put in money, and if you want, it's managed by software. In reality, when you go to a broker like this, let's say the broker is here, that's what you see, the broker is here. You connect through an app on your phone or on a website or something else, and well, the broker, he connects through several mechanisms like investment banks, all that, clearing houses and everything. He will connect to the market, for example, connect to Euronext, for example, connect to NASDAQ or connect to other places. Like that, you see, and actually all of this, what you see here, it's just software in reality here too. And actually, you have software that's made for two things. First, this software is made to make your life easier so that you can easily get into the system. It's very important that you get in easily, that it's almost a fun experience. Okay, you get in great, because they want everyone to have an account so they can trade. What they don't say is that trading is a profession. What they don't say is that it's very difficult. What they don't say is that the majority lose their money. That's what they don't say. They'll tell you stories like you need to increase your income, go on vacation, help your family. Some websites will even flash sports cars at you and all that, telling you, well, you deserve this, right? In reality, they're selling you a dream, while these are just programs designed to take your money. So the guys here don't even need to work or act against you individually. No, the system works in a systemic way. Jay, I want to say it's made so that when you come here, well, you're going to trade, you're going to give them fees and all that, and then you're going to lose. After a while, you're exhausted and leave, so they find someone else. If you regain hope and money later, you return and invest again, and they'll accept it. You see what I mean? It's not inevitable that they'll take it from you. It's not mandatory that they'll take it from you. Okay, it's not mandatory. It's simply the illusion that was sold to people. It's that it's easy, right? No, it's a very difficult game. You can make money, and big fortunes have been made in it. Yes, that's true. But those who made a fortune already had a lot of money to begin with and a lot of knowledge, and they were supported. And then they had access to information and access to a lot of things that ordinary people can't access. So how can you improve your chances in this game? The only way to improve your chances is to try to learn as much as possible by learning. You don't become, how should I say, you don't become, let's say, immune to any loss, but you improve your perception. You improve your perception of things, and then you improve your ability to read information, to develop strategies, to understand risk, to manage risk. And then maybe, I say maybe, I'm very careful with my words, maybe also being able to supplement your income, maybe potentially making money in a reasonable way by properly managing the income, and also the risks that we were exposed to in order to manage that income. So that's it. This is just the introduction to the course. Conflict of interest, extremely important. The concept of the 390 and just. Once again, I know, because as soon as we talk about finance, we talk about money and what happened to me in the past. Well, there are a lot of scams that can be built. For example, I know there are people who go on a Telegram channel and then they're told, here, this is Aldo Starone's channel. They're just there to sell investments, Discord servers, or something similar. That's false. That doesn't exist. I'm not behind it at all. So if anyone ever contacts you supposedly on my behalf, it's not true. That person is trying to scam you, trying to lie to you. Okay, I'm very transparent, and when I want to say something, I say it. In my YouTube videos, I pin links, I share things clearly, okay, but I don't control the internet. Okay, that's it, my friends. Thank you for watching this video right here, and I'll be back in lesson number 2 very soon.